The car ride to the airport was almost completely silent. Outside, houses glowed with Christmas lights. Families moved behind warm windows, carrying food and gifts. Inside the car, the heater hummed quietly, but no one spoke. My parents stared straight ahead like they were finishing a chore. I was 16. When we reached the airport, my father parked and turned off the engine. For a moment we just sat there. Then my mother handed me an envelope. Inside was a one-way plane ticket. Prague, I said, confused. My father cleared his throat. Your real family is there. The sentence felt unfinished. I waited for the rest of it. You've never been ours. My mother added. No explanation followed. My father opened the trunk and pulled out a suitcase I had never packed. They walked me inside the terminal the same way people drop someone off for a short trip. At the check-in counter, my mother hugged me quickly. You'll understand one day, she said. Then they walked away. I watched them disappear through the sliding glass doors while people around me laughed and carried wrapped presents. A woman at the airline counter finally asked if I was traveling alone. I nodded. That was how my life in Prague began. My grandmother met me at the airport. She was small, wrapped in a heavy coat, and she studied my face carefully before hugging me. You look like your mother, she said softly. Not the woman who left me, someone else. Her apartment was old but warm, full of books and plants that leaned toward the windows. She helped me enroll in school, showed me the tram routes, and cooked simple meals every evening. We didn't talk about the airport. We lived around it instead. The first years were difficult. I barely understood the language. I missed things I couldn't even name, familiar streets, familiar jokes, the feeling of knowing how life worked. But slowly Prague stopped feeling temporary. I learned Czech. I made friends. I studied architecture and eventually found work at a small firm. My co-workers knew I had come from America as a teenager, but I never explained why. My grandmother and I built a quiet life together. She rarely spoke about the past, but her kindness was steady and practical. When she grew older, something changed. Papers began appearing on the kitchen table, documents, envelopes, official stamps, just practical things, she said when I asked. She died the following spring. The apartment felt enormous after that. I spent weeks sorting through her belongings, packing books and photographs into boxes. Grief came quietly, in small moments, like hearing the kettle whistle and remembering she wasn't there. Months later, my phone rang. A lawyer introduced himself and said he was calling about my grandmother's estate. I assumed it was about the apartment. Then he said, "Carefully, your grandmother left you the entirety of her estate, valued at approximately 23 million euros. For a moment, I thought I'd misunderstood. Before I could respond, he added something else. There is a legal challenge. 2 individuals from the United States are contesting the will. I already knew who they were, my parents. The court process lasted months. Lawyers translated documents and explained laws I had never imagined needing to understand. My parents argued that the inheritance should pass through them, that they were the closest family connection. The first time I saw them again was in a courtroom. 12 years had passed. They looked older, but not dramatically different. My mother avoided my eyes. My lawyer leaned toward me and whispered, "Your grandmother anticipated this." During the final hearing, the judge opened a letter attached to the will. It was written by my grandmother. In calm, precise language, she described how she learned the truth years earlier. My parents had discovered, through a medical test, that I wasn't biologically related to them. Instead of explaining it, they sent me away to the only blood relative they could find. Her letter was simple. She wrote that raising me had been the most peaceful part of her life, and the money she left behind was not meant as a reward. It was protection. The judge closed the document and ruled immediately. The will stood exactly as written. Outside the courthouse, my parents spoke quietly with their lawyer across the street. For a moment my mother looked up. Our eyes met. Neither of us moved. I turned toward the tram station and walked away. The inheritance changed my life in practical ways. I expanded the architecture firm and bought the building where we worked. Stability came easily after that. But the money never felt like victory. It felt like something quieter. Proof that, at least once, someone had chosen me to stay.